Well, hello to you. Good mid-America. Morning to you. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing great today and good morning. Thank you for the thumbs up. Windy day here in my part of the world. Hanging out watching the birds. It looks like my bird feeders are a little low. Yeah, refeed the bird feeders today. Silly's in the house. How are you? Thank you for saying hello. Appreciate that. Still trying to get my eyes adjusted. It's a lot sunnier out here than it was in the house. A lot windier too. But it's a beautiful windy morning. Hope things are doing good in your part of the world. I'm watching my birds. Definitely low on bird feed. Got to put some more bird feed out. It smells good out here. You know, have you ever been outside and you go, you know, it kind of stinks. I wonder if somebody's doing laundry this morning. It almost smells like, no, it's not me. It smells like fresh laundry or something out there. Sweden is good. So you're hanging out in Sweden, are you? Nice. We're in the United States if you didn't figure that part out. How's things in Sweden? Sweden is good. What's the most famous Swedish food? If I was going to come to Sweden, which someday I hope to, what food would you recommend that I have in Sweden? I'm always curious about that because we love to travel. We do a lot of traveling. And wherever I go, even if it's in America and I go to like to Rhode Island, I would ask the people in Rhode Island, hey, what should I eat that's Rhode Islandish? The Swedish meatballs, okay. What do you know what makes us meatballs Swedish versus Italian? Italian meatballs. We make meatballs in America. I do like stroganoff. I think that's Swedish. Um, yeah, I like the stroganoff. And there is and we've had I've had the American version of Swedish meatballs. I don't know the real Swedish meatballs, but what you can get here in America. So, what drink would you recommend that I have? What soda or tea or milk? what is it as a drink that you go, this represents Sweden? It's like in America, I would say iced tea or Coca Cola would represent America, which is probably not good, but iced tea is popular. And then, of course, Coke is popular worldwide. So, and then the real question for you, do you guys believe that Swedish women in Sweden, so right, because most places around the world believe that all the women are beautiful and blonde with big boobs in Sweden. How do you guys see? Do you guys like the women of Sweden in Sweden? Nope, I like it. Nice. Lizard's in the house saying hello. Good to see you. How are you? What part of the world are you from? What are you up to today? Because we always have kind of a notion that from the marketing campaigns that Swedish women are, good looking women, kind of like Filipino women are beautiful women, Asian women are beautiful. American women, not so much. I don't know how you guys feel about your own women. We think our American women are mean, and we don't want to date American women. So American men, not a fan of American women in the most part. So thank y'all for the thumbs up, though. Don't be shy about that. Don't be shy. Is there anything that, if you came to America, what do you think you would like to try? What do you think you would like to eat in America? That's one thing I like to ask people too. I know we've got a lot of people here for the World Cup, and they are bugging out and enjoying the barbecue, the American style barbecue. So a lot of videos out there right now about people wolfing down barbecue and hamburgers. Apparently, we have better hamburgers. Like it? All right, good, good. So we have a lot of people from around the world, especially the United Kingdom area. Europe, who's here going, oh my God, the food is so good. You know, and we like the barbecue. I like that some barbecue myself. So barbecue potato salad and baked beans. So if you don't know what you would like to try in America, I would recommend pizza and barbecue. I've eaten the best hamburger I ate was at a Japanese restaurant in the Philippines. So there you go. But I don't think you can beat American pizza, and I don't think you can beat American barbecue. Good stuff. Good eating all around the world. That's the best thing. I'm going to come outside this morning and read a little bit of one of my books I'm rereading from the 90s. I'm a big reader. I encourage you guys all to be readers. Me and my dog Lily. You guys want to see my dog Lily? Here, I'll show you my dog Lily. That's my dog Lily. And that's her little outdoor bed. You doing okay over there, Lily? Hmm. Nice windy morning. As you can see, my pots are blowing in the air. And dangly things are blowing in the air. All right, there we go. The goat, the greatest of all time. Well, thank you for that. And that's what you mean for me. I don't know about that, but yeah, it smells like laundry out here. Somebody has to be doing laundry in the neighborhood. And they're using a lot of fabric softener or laundry soap because it smells like laundry out here. Man, I got so much work to do. It's about 85 degrees in America. We do Fahrenheit, not Celsius. You know, Dennis is in the house. Go to church and repent. What do you got to repent for, Dennis? You know, what do you got to repent for? You don't have anything to repent for. Oh, Dennis, my wife's in bed, so let me tell you something I've been meaning to tell you because I know how much you like Colombian women, right? Got to be quiet. Apparently, and I didn't know this. We have some neighbors who are from Colombia. Didn't know it. I've known the neighbor. They've been here since we moved in. But let me tell you, she was jogging in the neighborhood the other day, and I finally saw the wife. Never, I've seen the kids, but never the mother or the father. Holy crap, Dennis! Oh my God, Dennis! Dennis! Oh my God! And I know they're from Colombia because I talked to their kids a couple times. They throw their balls in my backyard accidentally, and I get it back for them. You know, you would be very impressed. I'm telling you, I was very impressed. But anyway, you, not me. What do I got to repent for? What did I do? Oh, what do I got to repent for? I don't like to go to church. You know, churches, all they want is your money. All they want is your money, buddy. So, I was extremely shocked. Yes. Oh, I'm sure. But, in the middle of America, you know, I'm telling you, wow. Or Cali? Yes. So, Dennis, you been traveling any lately? What have you been doing? You got Lorelai was asking about you yesterday. You don't know what to say? Well, say anything. Tell us about your favorite thing to do. And it better not be with animals. Tell us what you like to do. Ask any questions about America. Do you have any questions about America? Do you have any questions? I am as Dennis says, I am the greatest life coach and deaf coach on the planet. Exists. All right. So, but but Dennis Lorelai was asking about you yesterday. She was hoping that you've been doing well. I said, yeah, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's fine. We were, and part of the jealousy, Dennis, was yesterday, um, which I think this is funny, but we got a lot of people mad at us, believe it or not, Dennis, in our community. A lot of people are really not happy with us, but once again, David doesn't care. But I actually, as we grow our little channel and all of this crap, I get recognized more and more and more because how many fat white guys are there out there? Well, don't answer that because there's a lot of them in America. But I get recognized more and more. And yesterday, while we were at Sam's Club, I had 4 different people come up and speak to me and wanted to talk and all that here in my local area. And I think Lorelai got a little jealous because they recognized me and not her. But I had to tell her, I said, it's because I'm on the channel so much. And she's like, well, I think they only speak to you because I'm with you and I'm so beautiful. And they want to know how you got such a beautiful girl. I'm like, I think you're a little jealous. I think you're a little jealous this morning. So that's what we did yesterday at Sam's Club. Well, let me ask you this question. So every time somebody asks me what my age is, I always like to say, well, exactly how old do you think I am? And then we go from there. We build off of that. So, oh my goodness. But Dennis, you got any big trips planned? We're going on a cruise in October, Dennis. So, but until then, we're not really doing anything special. We're not gonna do it. We're just doing a bunch of trips, day trips, and things like that. And we met a bunch of new channels here lately, Dennis, that have some very nice looking people on them. So, kind of don't know why, but we started to attract some new channels that are very stable. So, and so yeah, I always propose the question: if you want to know my age, just tell me how old you think I am, and we'll go from there. It's kind of a guessing game. I told Lorelai yesterday, I said, you know, it's okay to be jealous because, granted, I may be, you know, why I'm so recognizable is because I know how to style and profile. I know how to look good in public, I told her. I said, I can't help it. It's a burden, it's a curse. You know? You accidentally left for that. All right. Well, we forgive you for it, but you're welcome to do that. You know, when you come and go, it helps the viewer count, so it's all right. I don't get upset about that. Screen is kind of it is. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Well, I can't pronounce your names. I'll just call you Y. Oh crap! I almost kicked the tripod over. Let's see. A book talking about the Quran. All right. Well, you can talk about the Quran how you like. I don't care. 9188, you got blocked by your comment. YouTube blocked your comment, which they probably should have. Any word on MM or the other guy? Michael McFarland? MM? Or are you thinking of a girl named MM? Got to help me out with MM, Dennis. MM, Michael McFarland? Yeah. No, I think they're dead. I think he's dead. Jack, the drunk, the user, was on my channel a while back, about a month or 6 weeks ago, for one live stream, and I acknowledged him, but I didn't give him any respect. I just kind of blew by him. But I searched for Michael McFarland the other day and couldn't really find anything new on him at all. So it's kind of the same thing with, you know, Tony doesn't post anymore, and I haven't. Ronald, I just see him on Facebook. So, but yeah, Michael McFarland, I don't know. He may be dead. He may have drank himself to death finally. So Mitchell's in the house saying hello. Shirley says, I have able book about space. Okay, you have a book about space? Nice, nice. Michelle, Mitchell, how are you? Good to see you. All right. Trying to drop porn links or something on my live stream is not going to happen. So you can keep doing it, but it's not going to do any good. YouTube's not going to post it. So that doesn't even make any sense. But hey, if it makes you happy to keep doing it, well, then just keep doing it. But other than that, no, I haven't. You know, I mean, Tony, he sends me stupid shit all the time on Facebook Messenger. Usually all bathroom stuff. You know, eighth grade, seventh grade, sixth grade humor where people are farting. I don't know what his deal is. I think Tony has a fascination about you know, bathrooms. Dennis. Yeah, yeah. Ronald hates Trump, and maybe that's why he doesn't come to my channel very much anymore. Because one, I don't hate Trump, and two, you know, I don't care if you do or you don't hate Trump. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he's very delusional about Trump. I agree. I agree, and especially. And what's weird for me is everybody that has so much hate for Donald Trump when they don't live in the country. I got another friend in Australia who hates Donald Trump, but I'm just like, why do you hate somebody and you're not even in that same country? Well, and he probably won't at this stage of his life not be able to cure himself. But Ronald's a good guy. He just, you know, Silly's asking, is this a Q&A? Absolutely. Everything we do is Q&A. We're happy to entertain. Who put bark MP3? Are you asking if my dog is barking? Yes, my dog is barking. I hope he can too, because I believe, one thing that blows my mind is, and I like the videos that we all see out there about, look, John Taylor's in the house, good to see you. About when Biden was in office, I didn't hate Biden. When the Clintons were in the office, I didn't hate him. When Obama was in the office, I didn't hate him. When, Nixon, I probably wasn't alive, but you know what I mean. Carter, I didn't hate any of the presidents. I've always supported whoever's in office because I think you got to support the office of the president. Even if you don't like the politics, you got to realize it's going to change in 4 years anyway, or 8 years at worst. So I don't get why so many people have so much hate, and I mean hate for a politician. Just take a chill, find something else to focus on. If you have that much hate, I think you got other issues. Maybe you're unhappy in your life, and this is how you're lashing out. But you don't gotta hate the president. That's stupid. I don't know. Wish for him to be dead and all that crap. I mean, I thought Biden was an idiot from the last 20 years, but I never wanted him dead. John, how are you? Good morning. How's things in Missouri? Silly says, okie dokie. Yes. Question and answer. What kind of questions do you have, or what kind of answers do you want to give? So, John, how's good things going in Missouri? Everything good with the girlfriend, I hope? Any big plans for the summer? Anybody do anything special for the 4th of July? We're not. We got invited to go to the big firework display, but we're not going to do it. One, we'd have to park 4 miles away, and I'm not going to do that. And the crowds are so bad, I'm not going to do that. So we'll probably just hang out in our backyard and look up and watch. Just got up. My God, it's 9:30 a.m. in the morning. You must not have a dog. I get up about 6:30 every morning, whether I want it or not, because my dog wakes me up and says, hey, fat guy, get up. I need to be eating. So she wakes me up, I feed her, then she goes back to sleep. 1634, those are good numbers. But yes, I don't know. And I don't know why people, the strange thing is, I don't know why people want other people to fail, right? Even if I don't like, you know, somebody, especially like a president or a leader or a business leader, why do I want them to fail? Because if they succeed, then usually I benefit in some way or form. So there's going to be down the line, downstream effects. Even if you hate Trump, there's going to be things come down the road that's going to benefit you. Biden was in office, the Democrats in office. There are things that benefited me. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why people hate so much. We are petty. Let's see. Xavier is asking who gave you the N word pass. I didn't know anybody gave me a pass, and we don't say the N word on the channel anyway. You know, if you're trying to provoke an N word discussion, you can, but you better be careful. Humans are petty, like the young man who just asked about the N word. That's kind of petty. It's petty. But people are petty, and people are petty. Oh, my dog. People are petty in a lot of ways. You know, they're petty about the gender thing right now, which I think is crazy. You know, um, you know, when people want to argue with you about their gender, it's like, isn't that petty to get offended because somebody calls you ma'am or sir, which is signs of respect, but you really think you're not that, you want to be something else. Ignorant and lazy is true. And I think the biggest thing is how people want everybody else to conform to them. Oh, and Canada in the US, we are. It's horrible here. I think it's getting a little better here because the woke society is dying, and um, there's more and more people that are just finally going, we don't care. We're not doing that. We're not buying into your delusions. I don't care who you sleep with or how you identify. Just don't make me buy into your delusions. Who can type this? What is this? A wishbone? It looks like a chicken wishbone or a turkey wishbone. I do things are getting better. Oh, let me show you. See what Lily was doing. Going inside now. And why are petty people? Why are people petty? Is it because they have a lack of self awareness, or are they aware that or do they believe that they're inferior? I think they're fearful of their inferiority complex. He teleported. All right, nice, nice. Teleportation would be great. It would save a lot of time and money. But I do think pity, Dennis, I don't know if you know who Dale Carnegie is. I read all of his books back in the 90s. Of course, when I was a young business person at the college, young instructor, I read all of his stuff years ago. And in hopes to get my wife to pick up some of his stuff, I bought all of his books again and put them on the ottoman in the house right in front of her. You and Dale were buds? Nice. So, yeah, so I've read them all. Been there, done that years ago, but I thought I would buy them for Lorelai, but she hasn't touched them. So I decided to reread them, and I'm going to try to, one, refresh myself, but two, I'm going to try to see if I can use some of this ideology before the internet came around in a modern day YouTube and Instagram and stuff. I'm going to try to refresh my brain about how I can use this on the internet and see if I can grow our little channel and finally get a house for my wife. Because remember, my biggest task in life is to get a house for my wife. I got to say it like this. All I'm doing is trying to buy a house for my Filipina. That's it. Well, I did too. I took one of his courses years ago when I was in my early 30s. I did. I took the Dale Carnegie course. And then over the time, I've read these other books. And it's common sense. His stuff is nothing special. It's all common sense. Moments. There's MWK with Ganesha. Hello, host and chat. Good to see you again. Thank you for coming in. Dennis, this is one of our new friends. They got a great channel. You might check them out. Thank you for being here, young lady. We appreciate you. How are you this morning? How are things going in your part of the world? Any exciting plans for the day? What are you going to eat today? I'm hungry. So I'm curious about what everybody's going to have for food today because I'm kind of hungry. So I thought I was home alone, Silly says. Yes, just went there and have 459 subscribers, subs. Nice. Good. It's a young, growing channel. I'm doing well. Nothing exciting planned. All right. Outstanding. Sometimes we don't have anything exciting planned either today. My wife will wake up in a few hours and go, "What are we doing today? Where are we going today?" And I'm like, "Well, shit, I don't know. I haven't thought of anything." But Maybe we'll go for a drive. I don't know what we had to get gas yesterday, so we got gas in the car, so we can go for a drive. MWK making some jerk chicken today. Ooh, I like jerk chicken. I'm a fan of jerk chicken. I like the I don't know what you would call. I've had jerk chicken that has kind of like a rice pilaf thing with it. I really like that. I don't know what it's called, but Silly says, you know, it's 2 a.m. Oh, why am I number? Oh, why are you number two? Well, I think. Okay, why are you number two? Are you asking me why you're a big turd? Are you poo? What's the problem? I don't know why you're asking there. I don't know why you go in number two because you ate too much food. I don't know what you're doing. If you're talking about two on the chat count, that means you got to chat. You got to, if you want to be higher on the crown ranking, you got to do more chats. And it never hurts to super chat, so I can buy my wife a house. I had chicken with had chicken with a jerk. Yeah, I can relate to that. Um, but I can't remember the rice. But the rice dish we had somewhere. I can't remember which part of the world it was in. But we had some really good jerk chicken, and they served a really cool, I don't know, Spanishes rice with it. I don't know what it was, but it was good. MWK says, Dennis, yes, you're a funny man. Dennis is a funny man. He's a good guy. You treat him well, he's a good guy. Silly, you know, the icons on these chats are small and I'm half blind, so I really can't. It looks like you put a mustard package. What it looks like. But I don't know. I had a hot dog yesterday. My wife had mung beans and beef. I had a hot dog. So there you go. We did have some cheesecake. I like cheesecake. We're going to Jamaica in October, the Cayman Islands in October, and the Bahamas in October. So we're doing that. I'm looking forward to the food on the cruise ship because it has to be better than the food I cook. We're looking forward to our cruise. We got plans to go to the Philippines next year ish. So, hey, but Dennis, do you think you got anything out of the Dale Carnegie thing? Do you think it was good information? I think it was a great business model for him. It made him wealthy. And now his heirs or publishing company, whoever owns the rights to everything, are still doing well. But I'm rereading it and see if I can apply it to technology today. And WK says, well, Dawson, what cruise are you driving? We're going on Carnival. This is going to be our last Carnival cruise. We love to go cruising, and if I had the money, we'd go monthly. I really would. To be honest, I would take a cruise a month. No problem with that. But this is going to be our last Carnival Line cruise for a couple of reasons. We only took this one because Carnival's changing their reward points. And up to this point, we're what we call gold members, which is not very high, but we're in the middle of the rung. But we have a lot of points, so to speak, points or freebies. So knowing that they shipped it over starting July the 1st, you have to start over. So everybody starts back to ground zero. And but looking at it, if we didn't use it, we would lose it. So we got a cruise fairly cheap, and so that's why we're taking it with Carnival one more time. Seeley says, no, never been on a cruise. I want to do one at some point. It's on your bucket list. I highly recommend it. I do. And so we got to start all over on Carnival. Not a big deal, but we're using it to get a better price on the cruise, our points. But as we've aged, I've realized I would like to have a nicer ship to sell on. I want to upgrade. I have a higher standard of cruising versus Carnival. Carnival is kind of like the bottom rung, the lower level. It's not bad, not bad. It's a great place to start. Just don't take a 3-day cruise on Carnival. It's a great place. It's inexpensive. It's easy. All of that. but we're ready to have nicer ships to hang out in. So that's why this would be our last Carnival cruise. I want to bump up to like Celebrities and Norwegians and Virgin and all of those others. Never been on a cruise. What type of cruise would you like to go on? I'm just works guy. I'm just a works guy. All right. Yeah, I don't know how far his cruise went, right? Noah, you're Noah. That cruise ship that he had may have smelled a little rough. It may have been a little stinky. So, but yeah, we leave out of Miami. We're going to go to the Bahamas. Carnival's Bahamas, and then we go over to Jamaica, and then we go over to the Cayman Islands and back. So it's not a very long cruise. It's only a 6-day cruise. But we are going to spend an extra day in Miami and hang out. That's what we're doing. And next year, we either need to go to the Philippines. If we go to the Philippines, we're only going for about 10 days. And then we're going to jump over to Singapore for the rest of the trip. Because all we need to do is get back in the Philippines, is visit friends and do some paperwork for the properties we own. Royal Caribbean's good. It's a higher level, higher standard. I mean, um, you can get a lot of good deals on it. Here's what I've done. I did a couple of years ago. I sat down and I did a big old spreadsheet about what I can figure out from looking at the numbers. The Royal Cross and cruising. Is Carnival cheaper? It is by about 10 to 15%. But you get what you pay for. So if you go to Royal Caribbean and Celebrity and all those, they're definitely 10 to 15% higher, but you get nicer things. And sometimes you get better deals that brings that percentage back down in line with Carnival. You just got to work the system. You want one that's kid friendly? Well, Carnivals are very kid friendly. That's one of the reasons as us, we don't have any kids. We're moving away from the kid friendly. We'd like to kind of, you know, and even when we're on the Carnival cruises, we stay in the adult areas 90% of the time. So we hang out there. Not that we have anything against kids, it's just, the way we are. Disney is the kid friendliest one, I guess, right? But Royal Caribbean's great brand. It's one of the ones in the wheelhouse for us to go up to next. So, but Carnival, Disney, if your kids are into Disney, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people that just love to take their kids on Disney cruises. It's like going to Disneyland on water. But Carnival is very kid friendly, very very kid friendly. They have dedicated areas where you can go and lock your kids in for the day, and there will be people there who babysit them and take care of them and entertain them. They have like young explorer club type things for kids, on cruise ships, which is cool. So if you don't want to hang out with the kids all day, you can send them to class, type of thing. But I encourage you to do it. Our next cruise we're looking at, my wife really wants to go to Europe. So we've been looking at like doing the northern part of Europe, I guess, was just Germany and maybe Sweden and some other places up in there, and or the other half, which would be down by Italy and France and Greece. So that's what we're going to save up for and take a cruise in Europe. That's our next big cruise ship. We've been everywhere here in America, out of America, pretty much. We haven't gone to Alaska, but I really don't have a desire to go to Alaska. Silly says Disney is not kid friendly because the characters swear, according to Terraberry TV. Well, one, don't know what Terraberry is, TV is, but I would, I, I, I think Disney is very kid friendly. I think that's their target audience because they want to make money. Do I think Disney has an underlying dirty adult theme in a lot of their stuff? Absolutely. If you watch a lot of their programming, there's definitely a lot of adult jokes in there. But when you go to Disney World, Disneyland, it is one of the cleanest, chillest places. There's not a lot going on. The swearing doesn't come from the crew members from Disney, the employees. They're not the ones causing the problem. It's usually a pissed off parent who's causing the problem. So I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one and say you're wrong. Now, you may be watching some kind of weird, raunchy TV in Sweden. Maybe you guys got a TV program where they have Disney-like characters who don't that are not very nice. Maybe I don't know. Don't know. But here it's very sanitized, kind of boring. But a Disney cruise would be good. So, but we're to that point, and if you take Royal Caribbean, even Disney is a better level than Carnival. Carnival is what we call the Walmart level of cruising. So, and we don't mind it. It's cheap and it's easy, and we've done it 4 or 5 times. But it's just time to, treat ourselves nicer. It's kind of like as you get aged, as you start to age in life, what you want to do, you wind up wanting one better quality food. You do. You wind up wanting better quality housing. Right. You wind up wanting to be more comfortable in life. That's just the way progression is. And we're to that point with cruise ships. We're ready to go to a little bit, pay extra money and get a nicer cruise. Silly says, da, 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 da. I don't know what that is. I think they're agreeing with me over there in Sweden. So, but we all are making cruises. I would budget, if you're going on a Royal Caribbean cruise, I would budget $150 a day per person. Now, sometimes that can be a lot less because if you buy a family cabin, then you don't got to count the children into that, right? So they give you family cabin, the kids can all sell for free, stuff like that. There's a lot of that going on. But with the Royal Caribbean and Celebrity and those, you got to budget about 150 a day versus like $100 a day, give or take 115 for a Carnival cruise. But do it, and Dennis will come and join you on the cruise. We've been trying to talk poor old Dennis to coming down into America. Yeah, you definitely got to do research. One, here's what I tell you. What you need to do is kind of figure out where you want to sell to. What do you want to go see? What country do you want to go be to? I think that's the most important thing. Once you kind of go, hey, I want to go to the Grand Turks. All right, well, that's your destination. Then you start searching from there. And then you kind of build around that and whatever else. It's kind of like this trip. I wanted to go to the Cayman Islands. We had some other cruises that went other places, but we've already been there. So I didn't really want to go to Jamaica or the Bahamas, but I want to go to the Grand Caymans. So I built this cruise, or I didn't build it, but I took this one because of that, and it was cheap. Silly says, respect to the guy who says absolutely. There you go. Respect is a good thing to share. In order to get respect, one, you got to earn it, I believe. You need to earn respect. But I find that sometimes if you give respect, you get it and you get it back. But that's not always true in today's society. But that's what I would do. I would figure out where you want to go and then start from there and build from there and how many days you want to go. And the reason I say don't go on a 3-day cruise, like out of Miami to Florida, to the Bahamas, for a 3-day cruise is because those are the ones historically in the last couple of years, what we call booze cruises, where people that don't have a lot of money get on there and they just get drunk as snot and they cause a lot of fights. Um, Blazers in the house. Royal Caribbean are fun and good cruises. Absolutely. One of the places I want to go is the Bahamas. Okay, Bahamas is good. It's a great place to start your cruising world. I sail out of San Pedro. San Pedro, nice. Hey, boo boo, how are you? I'm doing great. If I'm boo boo, I'm doing great. If Dennis is boo boo, then I don't know. You got to ask Dennis how boo boo is. So, sun came out. Let me read my chat a little bit better. The Bahamas, we've been to the Bahamas a couple of times. You know, I think it's a great place to start. I really do. MWK says, thank you there, Blazer. We appreciate that. Navigator of the Seas is what you've been on. That's a nice ship. Blazer also likes Ensenada and Catalina. That's Catalina's islands out in California. I've been there. Silly says, you know, my cousin eats cherries. Well, I'm very happy for him. If that makes your cousin happy and healthy, well, good for him. You know, if he's, has mental health issues, well, Sweden has some good mental health places, I've heard. So you might help him with that. But we like cruises. We highly recommend them. We don't have any desire to go to the Alaska one. I don't know. I'm not a cold weather person. But we are kind of bored. You know, we've been to Aruba is a great place to cruise to. Our best cruise so far is we left out of Miami. I can't remember everywhere we went. It was a long cruise, but we wound up in Aruba and Curacao. Those are some of my favorite locations to go to. They were great. We went to the DR a couple of times, so in Mexico a few times, but Aruba was one of the best trips. Oh, wow, you went deep sea fishing there? Outstanding. We've done a lot of deep sea fishing over the years. Usually they're on the East Coast and the Gulf of America. So we've never been deep sea fishing in the Pacific, just the Atlantic and in the Gulf of America, of course. We've probably gone deep. We've chartered deep sea fishing boats probably 10, 15 times over the years. I like all the women electric mix people from all over the world on cruises. Yeah, a lot of different people collectively. It definitely is like a melting pot of the world. And I tell people all the time, you know, I'm married to a Filipina, and I get a lot of people ask me, hey, where can I get a Filipina girlfriend? And I tell them all the time, look, the best way, one of the simplest ways to get a Filipina girlfriend is to go on a cruise ship because they're all over the place on a cruise ship. And you don't got to go to the Philippines. You can take a cruise, have fun, and you can meet single Filipinas on the cruise ship. You're having trouble burning water. All right. Well, if you have an issue with burning water, maybe you could check into a mental health facility. I don't know. Or just don't mess with water anymore. Maybe you don't understand water and fire, you know? I don't know. I'm 3 for 3 on cruises, batting 1,000. What do you mean 3 for 3? You got lucky and found 3 girls on 3 cruises? Or are you winning money on cruises? Or are you just enjoying, you've had good luck? We've never had a bad cruise. This is our fifth or sixth. I don't know how many we've done, to be honest. I kind of lost track. Now, there is a really cool thing. There's a new website out there. Ah, man, it's called Cruise Earth or Cruise Globe, where you can put in all your cruise data and it tracks it for you, the ship, where it went, how many days at sea, the ports of call, and you can buy extra souvenirs and things and maps. You can make a map of all the cruises you've ever been on, which is really cool. So, yeah, you're still a chick magnet. All right, that's good. I'm glad you believe that way. I know I am, but just don't tell my wife, you know. My wife gets jealous because I get recognized in public more than her. So, but she says, no, 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 it's because I'm so beautiful. They want to talk to you in hopes to talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't know. 58 years young. Nice, nice. The world split up into continents. There are seven in all. Well, good. I can tell you can use the internet. Outstanding. Or you learn, I don't know. The continents, I think I learned that in second or third grade. I don't remember. But you're correct. You know, you can be correct. In public, you're hot, but not online. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How can you be hot in public, but not online? I don't get that one. I mean, I don't understand that one. Usually we look better online than we do in public. It's usually the rule. But if you're serious about looking for girlfriends for to marriage on a cruise, you just got to remember to take a lot of photos and have them dated with the person. All of that stuff to show that you were met in person and when. Because under the U.S. K-1 visa law, the fiance visa law, you don't have to go to their home country. You just got to meet them. So if you met a girl from Japan working in Canada, you could do that, you know. If I get the list, you make it from biggest to smallest. Okay? That's right. The filters. Yeah. There are a lot of filters on the internet, man. A lot of these girls, and that's part of what we have. We're always in trouble with our local Filipino community because I laugh at these girls posting pictures of themselves. And I'm like, you were at my house 2 weeks ago for a party, and you look nothing like that. So Dennis says I look better with AC on both arms. Yes, you do. Everybody does because the AC, which stands for arm candy, distracts the eye, and that's my wife's theory. My wife theory says, yeah, people only talk to me because my arm candy is next to me. So, and they're jealous. And they want to know how I got such a beautiful piece of arm candy. So that's what she thinks. Either you stand out or you don't. The key is you either stand out or you blend in. A lot of times, um, not standing out is a way of standing out. Ooh, think about that. I apparently stand out. So we're getting a geography lesson. Thank you, silly. Yes. And finally, Australia. Why did you put Australia last? Do you hate the people from down under? That's not very nice. We got a lot of friends that live in the lands down under. They're good people. But if you're going to do a K-1 visa, all you got to do is meet them in person. Take photos, document that you did that, and then you can go from there. It's a continent. Yes, it is. Very good. Do you know the definition of a continent? Can you give us a definition? But if you're interested in girls, that's the way to do it. One of the easy ways to do it. I don't think MKW, or sorry, MW, man, my voice is acting up. I don't think MWK cares about meeting women on a cruise ship, but, you know. Are you trying to sing the continent song? All right, I got you. A way, harmonics, a way of remembering things. So, Blazer, what is your next cruise ship? You got a plan to go on a cruise anytime soon? Got any plans to go anywhere? Dennis, where are you going this summer? You got to run back and forth anywhere? I know you're probably not going to the Philippines for a visit. I don't know when John was in the house earlier. He's got a Filipino girlfriend. And poor Pat is still looking for a Filipino girlfriend or a girlfriend. But we gotta, I don't know, we gotta go to the Philippines next year, I think. From the land of Texas, no, no, man, no, no, we don't live in the great state of Texas, or at least what they think is the great state of Texas. No. Rick is in the house, my friend Rick. How are you, buddy? Good morning. How are things in the land of lakes? See, I remember, man. Land O' Lakes. That's where the butter started, by the way, if you didn't know that. Everybody said hello to Rick. Rick said hello to everybody. Rick, do you got a Filipino girlfriend? I know Tony does. We're talking about girls, I guess. Well, I agree. Dennis has made a valid point. If you go to the Philippines and you cannot get a girlfriend, you got to give it up. You just got to say, I'll never be married. I'm done. I mean, if you can't get a girlfriend, you can't get a wife. You can't. I agree, Dennis, 1000%. If you can't find a girlfriend in the Philippines, there is something seriously wrong. You know, maybe you need to go to Thailand for the lady boys. I don't know. But Dennis is 1000% correct. Yeah, you may have to change teams. Go to Thailand for the lady boys. I don't know, but I've never known anybody who had problems getting a girlfriend from the Philippines. So, supposing all you got to do is smile and say hi. You don't even got to do that, but just get off the plane and have a good time. Rick, I'm glad you're doing good today. Hopefully, you're doing good. Any big plans for your Sunday afternoon? No big plans for us. My wife is going to wake up in a couple hours and go, "Where are we going today?" And I'm like, "Oh, not clue." There's a lot of chores we need to do around the house, but on my wife's day off, she doesn't like to do chores. But there's a lot of things we need to do around the house. Yeah, and Dennis, we haven't heard from Gary in a long time either. Last time I talked to Gary, of course he's in his 80s or whatever. He was just living in his new little room in the basement in the Philippines, so to speak, and was happy. So you're doing a live stream at 2. You want to drop the link for your live stream? You can. So you're going to do your live stream at 2. I don't know if I'll be home to catch it, but I'll do my best to catch your live stream. I need to catch your live streams because you come here so much. So what's it going to be about? Anything or just open discussion? But you can drop your link, Rick, if you want to. Just leave your clothes on if you don't mind. Silly says, it's 5:09 a.m. where they're at in Sweden. He's in Sweden. He told me earlier that all the women in Sweden were ugly. Oh, now he's saying it's PM. So I don't know if he's correct or not, but he was telling me that all the women were ugly in Sweden. I don't believe that. Thank you, Rick, for dropping that. You're welcome to do that. Remember, if you're blue, you can drop anything you like. Did I tell? I know she's probably in the background somewhere. Let me get up here. I need to turn MWK blue. MWK, are you in the house still? Are you there? Are you here anyway? Let me see. Oh, I got to do it over here. I can't click on the link. All right. Well, you can copy and paste it and do it later, or you can just search for his YouTube handle there at Rick Lake 9405 on YouTube. You know, let's see. I need to go up here. Give me a second. I want to go back up here and I need to turn her blue. I've been meaning to do that. She's trying to grow her channel. Seems like a very nice person. And that way, when she comes out next time, MWK can drop her live stream or her channel. Yep, I'll do it. Good. Yeah, go to his live stream at 2 p.m. United States American time. The only time that matters in the world is U.S. time. The rest of the world, the rest of the world should just do everything that we do, right? And don't you guys think that? That the rest of the world should just, whatever we say should go. So, yeah, we got a lot of yard work and things we need to do, but you know how it is. And we got to finish doing some stuff out in the garage, but you know how that is. And my wife was going to want to go running around or go shopping or something. We went to Sam's yesterday in Walmart, so we don't need to mess with that, but we'll figure out something to do. It's at 2100. Outstanding. Outstanding. Oh, what it would be to be 21 again. Would you guys want to turn back the clock and be 21 again? That's the question. I think the caveat for me would be, could I keep everything that I've learned and my knowledge from today and go back to being 21? Absolutely. Because now I'd be filthy rich. I wouldn't. I'd be like Dennis, I'd be rich like Dennis. Now I'd go back in time and realize not to give away so much of my money to girls and invest better. Well, one of the best investments you can make as a young person is not into girls. Don't invest into girls. Sorry, ladies, but that's just the key. Don't invest in girls. I don't know. Sojo's in the house. You don't have knowledge of the stock markets or business investments, just the wisdom that you possesses right now, nothing more. Well, we don't have any knowledge of the future. We have knowledge of the past, and we should understand how investments and the stock market works. Everybody should do that. I don't care if you really don't have any money to invest. I think it's good to understand how the financial world works. And depending on which country you're in, you should know how that financial system works. How 401ks work, how saving plans work, how CDs are. All of that stuff is very, very important for young people to learn so that when they get to be older, they don't have to worry about the government taking care of them. But yeah, we don't have a future, but if you look at the past, you can look for trends for the future. Let's wait 3 hours. 3 hours for what? What do you want to wait 3 hours for? But so, Joe, thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's great advice. The biggest thing that we don't do is we don't, as Americans at least, we don't take advice very well. 3 hours, well, it's 10:15 a.m. where we're at. So I think you got a little bit more time to go than that. So, but I don't think American young people, we have a bad habit as young people not taking advice, not listening to advice, because we think we know it all at 2021. We think we know everything, and we were too dumb at that age. Our hormones are too raging at that age to realize that we don't know everything. And that's the biggest problem with young people. So I try to work with young people and try to get them nicely to understand they don't know everything. They don't. They don't know everything, and I don't want them to think they know everything and all of the above. They just don't know. So, saying hello again. But we're poor, just so everybody knows. We are a very poor YouTube channel. We are poor people here. Someday I hope to raise enough money to buy my Filipina wife a house, so when I'm dead, She has a place to live. She doesn't have to live in the streets. So, well, I would agree. Here's what I believe, and I have this debate with others that are close to me. There is a philosophy. Well, we got to live for today. Well, yes, you have to live in today, but you better plan for tomorrow because you won't be able to live in tomorrow otherwise, right? Investments, there's nothing wrong with it. I do believe, but I also have a different philosophy. I also think you should travel as much as you can. You should experience life, but you got to save. The biggest financial advice I give to people is don't go into debt. If you can stay out of debt, if you can stay away from that trap of going into debt, which is what everybody wants you to do. Everywhere you go, they want you to buy a car and finance. They want you to go into credit card debt. They want you to buy a big fancier house than you need. They want you to buy furniture and TVs all on credit. I'll give you such a stay out of debt. That's my best advice to everybody. Vive la France. All right. Because if you have no debt, then you have what I call financial power. Meaning, if you're debt free and you got a little bit of money in the bank, it doesn't got to be a lot. If you need to buy something in an emergency situation and you don't have the cash, you're going to have the credit to debt ratio that's going to allow you to go in and take care of the problem. Lily, come here. I got out of debt and not going back. Absolutely. The only debt we have is our house. That's why I want to get a house for my wife. Seriously. Our only debt is my house. And I don't want her to have debt when I'm dead in a couple of years. You have to be like the farmer. You plant the crops. This is a good analogy. You pray for the rain and you hope for the harvest comes in, but you have to plant, you have to hope, right? You have to do the work. It's kind of like I tell people all the time, if you need a job, what do you got to do to get a job? Well, you got to get off your lazy ass, get up and apply for jobs. You can't sit at home and think a job's going to come to you. Same thing with building wealth. You can't sit around and do nothing unless your parents are wealthy and you're going to inherit it. But if you need to build wealth, you got to get off your butt and do it yourself. You just do. And I don't think there's very many get rich schemes out there. Very, except for marrying somebody who's rich. Let's see. Did you know you can nose? I don't know what you mean by that. But Rick, I'm happy that you're out of debt. That's our main goal in life. My main goal is to be out of debt, so that Lorelai has no worries financially when it comes to keeping up the house and stuff like that. Because you got to remember, no matter where you live, unfortunately in America we have carrying costs on things that we own, taxes, insurance. And so even with taxes and insurance, every year she would have to pay X amount of dollars. So I don't want her to have to pay a mortgage on top of X amount of dollars. So I saw a thing about some videos about somebody living in the Turks and Caicos, where I thought was really interesting that they pay like an upfront 10% fee to the government when they buy property, and then that's it. That's it. You pay 10% of, so if your house is worth 200,000, you give the government 20 grand, I guess. Boom, and then that's your taxes for life. You have to do nothing else. You pay nothing else. I found that interesting, but I know like this. I'm hoping I got to read that we're hoping to maybe move to Florida or South Alabama because of the weather and the environment and the activities. So Florida just has passed that they're going to be getting rid of their property tax, but it's going to be stair stepped in. So And I saw something the other day where I know that's why I got to reread it, where it said that you only can take advantage of the no property tax if you've been living in Florida for 5 years. So new people won't get it. But I don't know. I got to reread that. But Florida may become the first state that has no real estate tax and has no state income tax. I got a brother in Texas. They have no state income tax, but he pays well over $1,000 a month in real estate taxes on his house. So I don't know how Minnesota is, Rick, but you got to watch for those carrying costs, no matter what you do. It's kind of like, for another example is that is I've learned the hard way since we have a car and we have a truck, my old truck. Since I don't drive independently much anymore, since I don't go to work, I maybe drive my truck once a week, maybe 52 times a year. That I'm not going to spend 60, 70, $80,000 on a big pretty truck to sit in my driveway. I bought a $10,000 truck that I drive once a week, and it cost me a fraction of that. So you learn these lessons as you go. Important, very important lessons to learn, I believe. Oh yeah. Here's something interesting. I've been rereading How to Enjoy Your Life and Your Job, a Dale Carnegie book. I highly recommend it. A lot of it's common sense. We're on chapter 6, so let's get in this a tiny bit. Remember that no one ever kicks a dead dog. Why would you kick a dead dog? So, what do you think they mean by you shouldn't kick a dead dog? Beat a dead horse. Does everybody, I mean, we have a tendency to beat dead horses, don't we? So, how to do gifts. What do you mean gifts? How to sing gifts on YouTube. You can just, there should be a super chat button somewhere, a $ button down at the bottom of the screen over here. It's a little square box that has a $ in it, if that's what you're asking. I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're sending a box, you send it through the mail, I guess. I don't know. But that's how you super chat us, is there's a little box down there at the bottom. I've got to read this a little bit. An event occurred in 1929 that created a national sensation in educational circles, which is interesting as I was in education most of my adult life. Learned men, meaning men of education, from all over America rushed to the great city of Chicago to witness the affair. A few years earlier, a young man named Robert Hutchinson had worked his way through Yale. Boo, Yale, you know. Pat's in the house. Good morning, Patrick. How are you, my friend? Pat, say hello to everybody. Everybody say hello to Pat. Thank you for coming in, Patrick. Hope you're doing good, buddy. MWK was in the house earlier. Dennis is here somewhere. Hutchinson, who had worked his way through Yale, boo, acting as a waiter, a lumberjack, that's badass, a tutor, and a clothesline salesman. Now, only 8 years later, he was being inaugurated as the president of the fourth richest university in America, the University of Chicago. But it's definitely not one of the richest ones now, I can tell you that. His age, 30. How incredible to be a college president at 30. The older educators shook their heads. Criticism came roaring up and down. This boy wonder like a rock slide. They're all thinking, this idiot 30-year-old, he doesn't know shit. He can't be that. He can't be a college president. Been there, done that. Silly, YouTube will block, weird little comments and things. If it's not coherent, they will automatically block it. So you didn't do anything wrong. It just, they're not going to let that go through. So listen, hello to you, Patrick. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. These old men from educational world kept saying, man, this guy's an idiot. He's crazy. His new fangled ideals are cockeyed. They're doo-doo. They're no good. Even newspapers joined in the attack and said this 30-year-old Yale guy doesn't know how to run a college. His thoughts on education is stupid. The day he was inaugurated, a friend said to the father of Robert Hutchinson, I was shocked this morning to read the newspaper's editorial denouncing your son. Yes, the elder Hutchinson replied. It was severe, but remember that no one ever kicks a dead dog. Woo! Now, what they're going with this is nobody ever kicks a dead dog. Meaning, if you're not doing anything, if you're not ruffling feathers, if you're not moving, what we call it, shakers and movers, as my friend Clark Thomas used to say, a good friend of mine out of Little Rock, who was bigwig in the Arkansas government. The shakers and the movers. If you're not shaking and moving, then you're a dead dog and you get no attention. If you want attention, you got to be a shaker and a mover. You got to be out there like this, right? Roger says hello. Kenesha, yes, Kenesha's good. She's growing her channel. So you got to think about that. If you want to get somewhere, you got to rock the boat. And that's what I like to do. One thing I like about Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, I don't care. What I really like is the fact that he's willing to piss people off. I enjoy pissing people off myself. I did it all through my college career. I challenged the norm, brought a business into an education world. So you got to rock the boat. When you rock the boat, you get noticed. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. So no one ever kicks a dead dog, right? Now, we beat a dead horse, but we don't kick a dead dog. Yes, the more important the dog is, the issue that you're talking about, the more satisfaction people get in kicking it. The Prince of Wales, who later became Edward over there in Europe, had brought home to him to a seat of his pants. Let's see, I'm going to try that. Read some of this if it makes any sense. One day, one of the naval's officers found, what's this guy's name again? Edward, who lately became the prince, crying, and we don't care about him. Find a better example. So, Patrick, what are you up to today, my friend? Having coffee? Trying to get away. I'm not drinking coffee. I drink my juice. But I don't drink regular juice because, I read that book from, I wish Dennis was here. I got the book in my room. I read it. God, what is that guy's name? That doctor guy's name. Humans don't need juice. I mean, we like juice, but it's not normal for us to drink a big old glass of orange juice. That was introduced to us. We didn't do that throughout the history. Our ancestors didn't drink big glasses of juice. We're only trained to do it now because it makes money for somebody. So I don't drink that type of juice. I drink an energy juice that's very healthy and clean. So remember, when you're being kicked and or criticized here on the internet, when you got trolls coming at you, when you got people saying bad things about you, right? When you got people criticizing you, challenging you, a lot of the times people do it because it makes that individual feel important. Hey, look at me. I want attention, so I'm going to badmouth Donald Trump, the president of the United States. I'm going to stand up and say all these horrible things about things I don't know anything about because it makes me feel important. That's what that is. When people attack us here on the internet, that's what it is, Pat. They want to feel important. Your spitter pet is out of control. Well, it's sorry that you can't control your pet there, young person. And of course, when people are attacking you, when they're kicking you, it often means that you are accomplishing something and are worthy of their attention, right? So maybe they see you as a challenge to what they're doing. And this happens all the time. We get coworkers jealous of us. We get YouTubers jealous of us. We get the wife a tiny bit jealous because we had 5 people stop and say, "Hey, PAC, how are you?" yesterday at same spot, and nobody recognized her. So, we got a lot of people in our own Filipino community that hate us, which I think is really good because I call them out and I talk about Philippine issues, couple issues, honestly about peacocking and all the fake drama and the bullshit that goes on, all the backstabbing, lying that the Filipino community does, right? And I talk about that. And so people don't like us because I'm more than happy to point that out. And so, they say things under their breath. They're not brave enough to come to the channel and give me shit. They just do it behind the scenes. But you're still ruffling feathers. Saying hello again, outstanding. Let's see. Many people get a sense of savage satisfaction out of denouncing those who are better educated than they are or more successful than they are. So, you're a challenge to them, Patrick. You know, um, so we take it as a compliment. If somebody's criticizing us, challenging us, take it as a compliment. Be proud of that. Going, yeah, I like. Now we don't get much here because my personality is so different, but we don't get a lot of people challenging us on our channel. They don't challenge what I say because usually I talk over them. But Patrick is a good thing. Dennis is a great thing. Dennis is good at that, at understanding, and there's good criticism, right, to build a conversation, to build growth, build wealth, to build relationships. There's a great way to stir the pot, so to speak, and I like that Dennis can do that. He understands how to stir the pot enough to drive it forward versus being an attacker. There are people out there, and I think I do a good job at that too, stirring the pot to drive conversation for it to get us to become better. Now, but there are other people that are just haters because they want to feel empowered. That's what kind of what we got, trolls. And over the years, I've challenged those people, and now they're no longer like Jack Hobson, the drunk. Like the guy from Australia, I can't remember his name, and Vincent. You know, ran him out of here. He wanted to attack. I kicked his ass. You know. Right on, Patrick says, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, it is. So, Pat, I don't want you to worry about if people says anything about your channel. Don't worry about it. Let's see, anything else good in this part? And you also got to realize no matter what we do, whether we're successful or not, we're going to be criticized by somebody more than likely. Because there are people out there that are so hurt inside that they just can't stop themselves. And then, of course, let's talk about the internet because I'm using all of this to kind of build the internet a little bit better. As we've talked about for years about keyboard warriors, right? And so the people, Patrick and Dennis and everybody, you guys all out there, silly, and MWK, understand that when trolls come on to your channels or to your videos and leave bad comments, well, they're just what I call keyboard warriors. So they're hiding behind the keyboard because they feel like they can be empowered. Hey, you can't really get to me, so I can say whatever I want because if I can demean you and get you upset, then I validate myself. That's why keyboard warriors do this. They need to validate themselves by tearing somebody else down. But understand, they more than likely would never, ever, ever, ever say boo to you in public, right? They would never challenge you in public. It's only behind the keyboard that they feel empowered because they can hide who they are and they can pretend to be somebody they're not. But in real life, it's not going to happen. You're a high-holic. All right, you like to get high a lot, do you? All right. Well, I got another friend that just got off the marijuana and his brain cells have gotten much better. He says he's thinking clearer, clearer than ever. Oh, I like this saying. I like this. I want you guys to listen to this. Remember that an unjust criticism, unjust keyboard warriors, is often disguised as a compliment. Remember that no one ever kicks a dead dog. Remember, understand this. An unjust criticism is a compliment in disguise. And it really is. And I believe this all my life. When people are attacking you, that means that you're doing something right. I like it. I like it. Rick, what were you going to say? I'm sure you had something good to say, young man. Oh, did we already pass chapter 6? How many chapters did we do in a row? Yeah. All right. Take it as a compliment, my friends. Or jealousy and envy. You know, I heard the other day somebody, and I thought about this. And Pat, if you're still here, I'll tell you. I heard somebody say the other day, somebody asked somebody on a live, I'm going to leave names out of this, but I'll tell you behind the scenes sometime. But I had somebody on another live stream that I was just watching in the background ask the live streamer if they knew of channel XYZ and if they were a good channel. And this channel is a good channel. It's a young channel, trying to grow. And the streamer said, yeah, but all that person does is goes to girl channels, is what the comment was. He said that channel only goes to girl channel, kind of criticizing, shutting down the conversation about the channel. And I thought to myself, I wonder if that person is jealous of that other person going to other channels. So that's a compliment, backhanded compliment. Rick says, people can't act right on my channel, get deleted pretty quick. My mods won't put up with it. All right, nice. Yes, Rick, I do something a little different. We do delete people, but not very often. I do things a little different, and I think everybody should do their own thing, Rick. So I'm not saying do what I do. I'm not doing that. I don't mind confrontation. I don't mind trolls because I use it as a teaching lesson. Maybe and it comes quick to me. I'm pretty good at it. So if somebody comes on and wants to call me gay or something, then I spin it around and say, well, so what I'm getting from your comment is that you're having difficulty understanding your own sexuality. Now understand on this channel, whether you're gay or not, doesn't really matter. We could care less who you sleep with, blah, blah, blah. But we accept you for who you are. So I use these as teaching moments. Now, if they use the N-word, if they talk about little children in a bad way, they're out of here and they're burnt. But other than that, I like to drag trolls out because one, YouTube likes the chat count. They like the conversation getting busy, which is good for us. So what we want to do is extract every bit we can out of them. Now, I've had a problem in the past with my moderators jumping on people too fast. And I've had to tell my moderators, slow down, stop, wait until I say to get rid of this person. So now, but they all know that if the N-word comes up, boom, you're gone. If there's something about, children, boom, you're gone. You don't got to ask my permission. But if somebody is trying to troll us, as long as they're not trying to pick a fight with somebody else in the chat, like attack Pat, and they're attacking somebody, we're gonna kill them. But if they're just trying to screw with me, and make fake commentary, I let them. I let them go on. I let them. I agree, Rick. You are right, Rick. Chili says, hello. Is it sunset? Maybe. YouTube. So that's kind of the way I take it, Rick, because I take it as a compliment. That's these people are on here trying to piss me off. Must mean I'm doing something wrong. I take it as a compliment, like I just said, that I'm stirring the pot. Now, here's the bad thing. I don't get it anymore. I don't get real trolls anymore. They just don't come around. Maybe I'm too boring, or I just, I've ran through them all. And the other thing is I have made friends out of people that wanted to troll me, and then they realize, oh, it's not a bad channel. I'll behave and be a decent person. So it's kind of like, turning lemons into lemonade is what I try to do with that, Rick, is maybe, just, but I've had my moderators kill people too fast because I'm sitting there thinking, look, I can extract a whole other line of thought out of this. But I also tell the people contributing, look, if somebody pops up and they want to talk politics and you don't want to be part of that conversation, I can carry on multiple conversations at the same time. If we want to talk about Trump here and we want to talk about Filipino women over here, I don't have a problem talking to 4 or 5 people about this topic and 4 or 5 about this topic at the same time. I can usually keep up. We can carry on that. Do this. Oh, here's a good chapter. Do this, and criticism cannot hurt you. Let's see what this little chapter is about. Can we get a house tour? The only way that you can get a house tour is if you donate money to my channel. That's the only way. Do this, and criticism cannot hurt you. I once interviewed Major General Smedley Butler, an old gremlin-eyed old hell devil butler. I don't know who he was. Remember him? He's one of the most colorful, swashbuckling generals who ever commanded the United States Marines. So he's a Marine commander. So I once interviewed this Marine commander. He told me that when he was young, he was desperately eager to be popular, wanted to make a good impression on everybody, which is a bad way to be. In those days, the slightest criticism smarted and stung, so it hurt him. So anytime somebody gave him, smarted means to hurt, to hurt their feelings, to take it personal. But he confused that 30 years in the Marines have toughened his hide. Oh, he confessed that 30 years in the Marine Corps toughened his hide. I have been berated and insulted, he said. I've been denounced as a yellow dog, a snake, a skunk. I've been cursed by the experts. I've been called every possible combination of unprintable cuss words in the English language. I can relate to that. Brother me, huh? Bother me? No way. When I hear somebody cussing me now, I never even turn my head to see who's talking. So maybe Butler, the old Marine guy, was too indifferent to criticism. Are we indifferent? I'm not. But one thing is sure, most of us take little jabs and javelins that hurled at us far too seriously. So we take the insults far too seriously. And like I just said, you got to understand, on the internet, these people don't really know you. They don't sleep with you. They don't pay your bills. So why are you taking their insults and their jabs at you personally? Don't do it. Take it as entertainment. And that's what I do, Rick, with trolls and people that want to come on here. I take it as entertainment, and I try to use it to better my own channel. I remember years ago, when I reported from the New York Sun, tenant demonstrated a meeting of my adult education classes lampooned me at my work. I was burned up. So he got criticized about something he did. They reported it. I took it as a personal insult. I telephoned Gil Hodges, the chairman of the executive committee of the Sun, frankly demanding that he print an article stating the facts instead of some stupid ridicule. I was determined to make the punishment fit the crime. So a lot of us do that when we want a right fight. What we do in the world is we're right fighters. I think 99% of us are right fighters, meaning we want to prove we're right. So you're going to come at me and criticize me, then I am going to jump on you and to prove I'm right. Well, that's the strategy of what they're doing. They're trying to engage you and to get you off your game. They're trying to get you pissed off. They're trying to get you distracted. And so now you feel like you got to prove you're right. But why do you got to feel like you got to prove you're right? Who gives a shit? Right? Who cares whether that person or what that person or those persons think and feel about you? All right? Thanks for subbing, Silly. We appreciate that. Yes, we do. Afterwards, I was ashamed now of the way I acted. I realized now that half the people who brought the paper never even saw the article. And that's one we mess up on. Half of those who read it regard it as a source of incoherent nonsense. Um, those who bought into it and believed it was the minority of everybody involved. So understand that when we're doing this social media stuff, why are we reacting that way? Because what you're going to realize, it's only a small group of people that even see or are involved in this. So, right, it's not the whole world that sees somebody calling you fat. And I get that every day. I get people calling me fat all the time. So I don't give a shit. So, one, because I am, and two, why would I care? But it's only a small group of people right here. If Pat decides to call me names, it's only you guys who are seeing it. So why am I getting so bent out of shape? And then the percentage of people on here that actually believe that I eat bugs, are probably very minute, right? It's a small percentage that actually believes it. Another percentage could care less if I eat bugs or not. Another percentage probably thinks it's funny. Another percentage probably thinks Pat is full of shit, right? So you got one or two people who might actually think I eat bugs. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, right? Well, that's what I want you guys to think about a little bit there. Now, my dog eats bugs, and that's not a lie. It's not a criticism, but my fat little dog, Lily, go on. Go. Go on. I moved the ladder. No? All right. All right. Let me show you my dogs real quick. So here's my dog. Oh, where she goes? See her? Where's she at? She wanted me to move the stool so she can get by. She got mad. So let's understand that part. I realize now, my years of experience and wisdom over the years have taught me this. I realize now that people are not actually thinking about me or you and caring what is said about it. People, and this is one thing I try to get across to people. Look, and I try to get this across to my wife and others. People aren't thinking about you. I'm sorry. Rick, Pat, David, me, PAC, Dennis, people aren't thinking about us. People aren't dwelling on us. They're not sitting there talking shit about us everywhere we go. They're not doing it. We're not that important. We're not Donald Trump. Now, he's got people talking shit about him every day. We're not on that level. We don't have that. We are not so deep into people's minds that people are focused on us. Oh my God. We're not. We're not that important. And that's what we have to realize. We're not important enough for people to dwell on us. We're just not. And more than likely, they are busy and worried and thinking about their own self. I don't think too much about anybody on the internet. I think about me. How am I going to buy my wife a house? How am I going to buy groceries? Do I need to get the lawn mowed early? I need to cut the grass around my rose bushes. I got to make sure I got extra turkey for my dog. I think about me and my world, right? That's what we do. I don't have the time or the energy to think about how to criticize somebody else, how to get out there and attack somebody else. I don't have it. I don't got the time. And then the other people are worried. The other people, there's another group of people that beat themselves up. So you got people like me who think about all these other things we got to do because they're not thinking about you guys. They're not thinking about whoever, the girl down the road, whatever, the ex-girlfriend from 4 years ago, whatever. We're not doing that. But then you got another group that is more worried about what people think of them. So instead of fixating on what they need to do in life and enjoying life and doing that, they're fixating on, oh my God, I don't want people to think of me. People aren't thinking of them either. I was watching Angola Prison Rodeo Championship, true stories. There's a really good documentary about Angola. I think it was the riot in the 70s or 80s. But there's a really good documentary on that riot that happened in Angola. Great documentary. Even if you and I are lied about, ridiculed, double crossed, knifed in the back, and sold down the river by one out of every six of our most important friends, let's not indulge in an orgy of self pity. Instead, let's remind ourselves that price, precisely what happened to Jesus. One of his 12 most intimate friends turned on him as a traitor, a bribe that would amount to, in our modern money, to about $19. The other one of his real intimate friends openly deserted his cause, got into trouble, and declared 3 times that he didn't even know who he was, and swore that he said 1 out of 6. So everybody's been criticized, everybody's been attacked, everybody's been backstabbed, everybody's been betrayed by somebody that they trusted. Happens to us all the time, more than we know. But they don't go on and on, you know. It's an individual who's going to betray you, who's going to do that. It's not the masses that are thinking about you. We're not that important. And the people, and here's the thing I tell people: if you have people around you who are willing to betray you, then you're better off not having them around you. So it's good that you have seen their true color, so to speak. You know that they're crappy people. They're bad for you. They're bad for your environment. They're bad for your surroundings. So the sooner you figure that out, that somebody is toxic, bad for you, that will betray you, that hate you, that are jealous of you, you got to move them on down the road. And you got to let them go. Don't hang on to bad people. Don't do it. If they don't bring anything to the table, let's send them to another table. Let somebody else have them. And there are people on the internet that's going to come in here and do that. And that's where you kind of got to go, okay, they're not worth being here. I evaluate all the people that come on here and go, look, do you bring anything to my community? Do you bring anything to my channel? If you do, great. Now, if you're just a observer in the background, great. That's perfect. Wonderful. But if I can't get any more value out of you, if I can't get any content out of you, and you keep doing this, if you keep attacking, then that's when we're going to send you somewhere else. We're going to ban you off of the channel. We're going to get rid of you. Now, I got to say, there's probably only 3 people that have been banned on my stuff. Maybe 3 people on my YouTube channel. Now, we've kicked quite a few people off of Facebook, our personal Facebook. But YouTube, I bet you there's not 2 to 3 people that I've ever banned. Now, we put them in timeout a lot, but, there you go. If you were in, I don't know what TADC is. I don't know what that is. But what would I do? I don't know. You got to tell me what that is, and I can give you an answer. I discovered years ago that although I couldn't keep people from criticizing me unjustly, I could do something infinitely more important. I could determine whether I would let the unjust condemned disturb me. Meaning, giving space in your head. Don't give trolls, YouTubers, people that are not good for you space in your head, space on your channel, right? That's what we're taught that in real life too, just in general. Why are we giving people, and I see so many friends on YouTube, I see so many channels getting so bent out of shape and just rant and raving. And poor MJ does that. MJ does it because he gets drunk. And I've talked to MJ about this. You know, the alcohol won't allow you to rationalize, can't let you see things. So if you're going to do this stuff, you got to do it clear-headed. Or otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure and you're allowing people to get into your head. So if you're going to do the internet, do it sober, is what my recommendation is. I get everybody likes to drink. We like to drink. Not very much. My wife drinks less. But you got to do it clear-headed and sober so that you can be on top of what's going on. But we got to stop and think, I can't let that keyboard warrior own space in my head. And now that that keyboard warrior has no more benefit to my channel, when Vincent was doing his stupid shit 4 or 5 years or 3 years ago, whenever it was, I kept him around. Now, he ran away because I ripped him a new asshole and I took all I could get from him. I benefit my channel by us mocking and talking about him. And he finally went, oh, I give up, I run away. But let's be clear. I'm not advocating ignoring all criticism. In fact, far from it. Criticism is a great thing, and I highly recommend positive, or it doesn't have to be positive. It just has to come from the right place. When you criticize somebody, you got to do it from the right place. Why am I doing this? You know, am I doing it to be mean-spirited, or do I truly feel like I could help somebody? And I try to do that on my channel every day. When I do live streams, when I do other videos, product stuff, I try to do it from a positive message criticism. If there's a criticism in there, it's coming from the right place. And that's something that we have to do. The Amazing Digital Circus. I have no clue what the Amazing Digital Circus is, so I would probably eat peanuts and watch the elephant do whatever the elephants do. I like elephants. Why are we talking about criticism? Because we are. That's what we do. We are talking about how to handle criticism. I'm teaching you, my young friend, how to handle, how to be better. This channel is all about, my morning chats are all about making things better. Whether you want to hear it or not. If you don't want to hear it, you leave. If you want to hear it, then you stick around. If you want to have a conversation about it, you stick around. So this second, we're talking about how to handle criticism. Good criticism, bad criticism, unjust criticism, or just criticism. So the theory is never be bothered by what people say about you, as long as you know in your heart you are correct. That's giving people, not allowing people to live in your head or your heart. You know your heart is right. You know that you're right. You know that you're correct. Don't give them space. Never be bothered by why people say, be bothered by what people say. As long as you know in your heart you're right. And the one thing is, this is what we call also being true to yourself. If you're true to yourself, then the criticism, the haters will go away because they know they can't break or pierce you. Right? People are looking to throw daggers at you, but they need to draw blood. But if they can't draw blood, figuratively, so to speak, then they go away and they find somebody else to attack. That's what a bully does. I preached about bullies 5 million times on this channel. A bully can only bully you if you let them bully you. And negative, bad, unjust criticism is a form of bullying, right? So you got to understand, You can only be bullied if you allow yourself to be bullied. Period. You can only be negatively affected by criticism if you allow yourself to do that. All right. And there's good criticism out there. I've taken a lot of criticism over the years, especially when I was teaching and public speaking, and I've learned to work and do better on things. I'm not a very nice guy, and I've been criticized for not being a nice guy, so I try to be a tiny bit nicer. Not very much nicer, though. I don't want to be very nice. And I think it's really good to, one thing J.D. Vance does, and Trump does this very well too, but the Vice President of America does really good about just letting criticism wash off his back and down his neck and laughing about it. Because you know in your heart that, basically they're full of shit, right? That the criticism is bogus. It's no good. It's full of shit. So just laugh at it. That's what I do. I try. I try really hard when people say negative things. I just kind of laugh and go, well, whatever, or you can expand them on it and make a funny out of it. And that's what I was saying earlier about when trolls come on and try to poke the bear by saying, grandpa, or, are you this, or gay, all it, I turn into my favor. And when we get criticism, if we let it roll off our back and down, and then we can use it as a way to entertain. Give us a question. All right. I'll give you a question. A whole bunch of people watching in the background. What is the one criticism that you would give me? Here, we'll make it easy. I was going to say that you would give yourself. What one criticism would you give yourself? Or you can be more than happy to give me a criticism. I want to know what criticism you have for me. And be honest, I'm good with it because you're not going to offend me. And I do think we all got to recognize we are sensitive to criticism. But I think if we understand what criticism is, we understand that criticism is a attack from the outside. It's a jealousy attack, right? So let's understand what criticism is. And then it doesn't offend us as much. It's kind of like anything. Once we know the root cause of anything, then we understand how to handle it better. We know where it comes from, so we know the understanding, the meaning, the feeling behind it. Silly says, I don't know anything but not criticism. Criticism can be a good thing. When somebody criticizes you, they critique you. That's where the word comes from. You know what the word critique means? If I'm going to go and critique a restaurant, their food, it may be really good. It may go, oh my God, 5 stars. I was telling some people were here to do some work on in my garage the other day. They were talking about, hey, where can we go from a barbecue place? And they ran through a list. They weren't from the area. And I'm like, oh, and they stumbled upon this place called Wright's Barbecue. Great little American barbecue place. Holy smoking butt farts. It is fantastic. And we've eaten there. We love it. We go by, it's smoky. It's good barbecue. Well, that's a critique of Wright's Barbecue, right? That's where criticism comes from. Now, you can say, oh, it's horrible and it's bad. And that can be your honest opinion. And they can take that as a positive and go, wait a minute, this customer says our pulled pork was too salty. Well, let me taste it and see if it really is too salty. Is there something going on? Did something happen? And so that we can take that critique into us, refine our process and improve. That's a good criticism. Good criticism. But if I come in there and tell them that their barbecue sucks because I got a barbecue joint down the road, or if I go on their internet site and I criticize them and tell them how shitty the barbecue is because I want to sell more barbecue at my place, that's an unfair criticism. All right? Does that help any? There's a... Here's a paragraph about Charles Schwab. I'm a big fan of banking with Charles Schwab. Love Charles Schwab. Been using them for years. There's so many reasons I like Charles Schwab, especially if you're going to travel overseas. I'm telling you. When Charles Schwab was addressing a student body at Princeton, he confessed that one of the most important lessons he had ever learned was taught to him by an old German who worked in Schwab's steel mill. I didn't know they owned steel mills. This old German got involved in a hot wartime argument with one of the other steelworkers. They tossed him into the river. When he came into my office, Mr. Schwab said, covered with mud and water, I asked him, the steelworker, what he said to the men who'd thrown him into the river. And he replied, I just laughed. I like that. Mr. Schwab declared that he had adopted that old German's words of motto, just laugh. So when people are criticizing you, attacking you, just laugh them off, right? You know, they're the ones who's having a shit fit. They're the ones going ape shit crazy. They're the ones bugging out, not you. So don't let them bug you out. Don't let them, I see this on the internet all the time. I see this in public. There's too many people wanting to just go crazy. Just laugh them off and go on. We've been in many, now look, I got a hot temper and you can't push me too much before I take you down. Now, look, I'm just telling you. But I have learned over the years, it's okay to walk away from a situation. It's okay to laugh at it and go, look, I'll give you an example of one on a cruise. We were talking about cruises earlier. I was on a cruise years ago, and some drunk guy, there's two couples, right? And one of them was obviously way drunker than everybody else. And Lorelai and I are sitting there ready to go into one of the shows. We're sitting down on a bench outside waiting. And this guy wanted to take pictures with his wife because everywhere on a cruise, there's places to take pictures. But he's drinking. He's got drinks. And he walks over to me and hands me his drink and says, hold this. And I'm sitting there thinking, what? Who the hell do you think you are telling me to hold it? So I took his drink out of his hand. I drank it as a brand new drink. I could tell. He just got it from the bar right over there. I chugged his drink and gave him back the glass when he was done taking his pictures. And when he got his glass, he was like, what the hell is with my drink? And I just laughed at him. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man. So just laugh it off. Laugh it off. Don't take it to heart. Don't give them space in your heart. Don't give them the ability to turn your heart brown, right? Your heart is red for a reason. Don't give them a chance to turn it brown. That's what this is saying. And this motto is especially good when you are the victim of unjust criticism. You can answer the man who answers you back, but what can you say to the man who just laughs, right? This is the whole thing about being bullied. You can only be bullied if you allow yourself to be bullied. So you can't have, and it's what I tell people on the internet. I know everybody gets so mad about, like MJ and Jack Hobson and all these other people that are just drunks on the internet when they get drinking. You can't, Tony, I tell Tony that you can't argue with people that are drunk. Just laugh about it and go on because you're not going to get anywhere. Now, even if you're sober, dead sober, if I'm attacking you, I can't keep attacking you if you laugh at me and walk away. I can't do it. If my attack towards you doesn't affect you negatively, well, then I lose. The other person just won the battle. Because what I'm trying to do is to get you stirred up and to get you fired up and to make you miserable. That's what I'm trying to do. But if I'm not successful in it, then I'm the one that loses, right? So we got to walk away just because it ain't worth it. Who cares what people say about you when you know it's right in your heart? Now, if somebody's giving you positive criticism, like, I don't know. One criticism I say a lot on the internet is about your nose, about your positioning of the camera. There's a lot of people that does this on the internet, and I don't like it. And I gently tell people, don't do it. A lot of people do this. I'll have to show you. Hold on. A lot of people look in the camera like this and talk. So it's not good to chat talk and to do a live stream with people looking up your damn nose. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Position your camera, and that's why I have a really good tripod to where the center of your camera is eye level and or slightly elevated. It's better to have people looking down upon you at a slight angle than up your nose. That's a positive criticism. And I see a lot of YouTubers who like to do live streams, who are trying to grow their channels, that do that. I also believe that you should make a lot of eye contact with the camera. So I see a lot of YouTubers who never look at the camera. You know, I think you got to address your audience. All right, let's keep moving. That's some of my best advice. Speak clearly, too, is the other thing. Try to speak clearly. I try. I'm not very good, but I try really hard to pronunciate, to slow my speech down, and do the best I can. Let's see here. Get back to where I was. So, Pat, when you're making videos, because your channel is young, just keep that in mind. Your head placement, keep it in mind. Even if you're out doing live streams and you're doing this, you know, just keep in mind camera positioning, I think, is a big help. Now, a lot of the girls want a live stream like this. Maybe, should I do this more, Pat? Would this be attractive? You think this would get me some more views? Maybe I could do this, live stream like this more. So a lot of girls like to live stream like this, you know, and maybe even a little bit more like this. So. Let's see. President Lincoln may have broken under the strain of the Civil War if he hadn't learned the folly of trying to answer all of the condemnations heard, all the insults, criticism hurled at him. His description of how he handled his critics became literally a literary gem classic. Judah MacArthur had a copy of it hanging above his headquarters desk during the war. Winston Churchill, the framed copy of it on the wall of his study, and Cartwell. It goes like this. Oh, I might have to get one of these. The ladies would love everything. Maybe. Think I get some more super chats? So here's what Lincoln said, and I might have to try to get a copy of this and put it in my office if I like it. Let's see. On how to deal with criticism. If I were to try to read, much less answer, all the attacks made upon me, this shop might as well be closed for every other business. I do the very best I know how. The very best I can. I mean, to keep on doing so until the end. If the end brings me out all right, then what is said against me won't matter. If the end brings me out wrong, then the 10 angels swearing I was right would make no difference. There you go. When you are unjustly criticized, let's remember, do the very best you can, and then put up your old umbrella and keep the rain of criticism from running down the back of your neck. All right, so what his saying is this. Lincoln's famous saying, silly is back, says, do the very best you can. And then put up an umbrella and keep the rain of criticism from running down the back of your neck. So keep it off of you. Keep it away from you. Don't take it to heart. He's meaning, I'm not going to embrace it. Not going to do that. All right. So, well, I appreciate everybody. I hope you guys are going to have a great day. I think it's time for me to wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today. We'll do some more of this later in the week. Patrick, we're going to do some more morning live streams. So, but Pat, I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. Silly, I hope you have a great day. Everybody else in the background, Dennis, all you wonderful people, thanks for the thumbs up, the super chats. Looking down my cleavage, it was a bonus to you guys. And time for me to go. Time for me to get some things done. Everybody take care, and we'll see you later. Oop, gotta go this way.